Good day and welcome to another session of the Family Equipping Ministry. For the past weeks, we're looking at the way of the new man that is marked by purity. This purity stems out of being made a new creature, having trusted on Christ's finished work, that is, his death on the cross for our sins, burial and resurrection for our justification, and sufficient for eternal salvation. This is how we are saved by grace. It is not by our works, nor by our merit. It's not even by our faith, but it is by the finished work of Jesus Christ and by the faith of Jesus Christ that we are saved and justified. Now, as we are saved by grace, we should do good works. Now, here is where some vain talkers put us in a bind. They would insist that we must work for our salvation, mingling our own works with our faith. Or else, they say, we can sin all we want since we are saved by grace anyway. Our Apostle Paul tells us not to be partakers with them. We are saved by grace alone through the faith of Christ alone. This is the way to be saved in the dispensation of grace. The truth is, an understanding of salvation by grace alone moves us that we should indeed do good works. Now let's consider our passage in verse 8 where our Apostle Paul writes these words. He says, "For ye were sometimes darkness, but now are ye light in the Lord. Walk as children of light." Did you notice that first Apostle Paul tells us that we were sometimes darkness? He tells us that's our past condition. And then he says, but now we are light in the Lord. This shows a distinct and stark contrast from who we were and who we are now in Jesus Christ. We were formerly darkness, but now we are light in the Lord. Therefore, Apostle Paul tells us we are to walk as children of light. This is because in verse 9 it is written, "For the fruit of the Spirit is in all goodness and righteousness and truth." In walking in the light as children of light should, we produce fruit of the Spirit that is in, number one, all goodness, righteousness, and truth. These are the good works that we as children of light, saved by grace, should be producing. In doing so, we accomplish what verse 10 says. It says, "Proving what is acceptable unto the Lord." I do hope that you paid attention to the wording. It doesn't say that we bear this fruit so that we can be acceptable. No. We do these fruits proving what is acceptable unto the Lord. What is acceptable to the Lord? These fruit of the Spirit in all goodness, righteousness, and truth. Good works are acceptable to the Lord from those whom He made new creatures who are saved by grace. Now, as children of light, we also should do as what our Apostle Paul instructs in verse 11. And it says, "And have no fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness, but rather reprove them." Two things. Number one, we should not have fellowship with the unfruitful works of darkness. Note that it is not the people per se whom we would shun, but their evil works. We should not have fellowship. We should not be partakers with the same evil works that they're doing, but rather we reprove them. Now, to reprove means to bring to light, expose by convincing of a fault. by the mere existence of light, the darkness is revealed. The reason for doing so is verse 12 that says, "For it is a shame even to speak of those things which are done of them in secret. These evil works are hidden." It is shameful. Yet those who are in the light bring this thing into light. Let's read verse 13. It says, "But all things that are reproved are made manifest by the light. For whatsoever doth make manifest is light." So, believers who are children of light should walk in the light, have no fellowship in the works of the darkness, but rather reprove them. This is because the mere existence of light reveals the darkness. Thus, our Apostle Paul calls for every believer to walk in the way of the new man, marked by purity, as he declares in verse 14, and I read, "Wherefore he saith, Awake thou that sleepest, and arise from the dead, and Christ shall give thee light." We are saved by grace. We should walk in the way of the new man, which is marked by purity. Thank you very much for listening. I do pray that you would have a blessed time discussing these truths with your family. So thank you very much for listening. Do have a nice day, and the Lord bless you.